Hi there. Greetings. Hi, Negatha, Amanda. Hi, Nikia.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome. We're just getting the room started. Hi, Sway. Welcome. Sway and Tay. And K-Say. Welcome. We're just waiting for some of our guests. I'm also just going to add some of the topics we're talking about today. Let's see, did they finally add cannabis up in here? Cannabis industry, yes. Great. We love that. Storytelling. Yep, we'll be telling some stories. And fun. Let's do that. So we're saving these. Welcome. Hi, Leah. How's it going?
Hi everyone. Good. How are you
Hi.
today?
Good. Yeah, we're good. Just waiting for some of our HQ ladies to get here. There's Sam. I see Mary from JTT Accessories. What's up? I think we're just going to kick it off since we are recording this, which is so fun and awesome that we're able to do that now. And you can listen in later, and we'll just see who joins us along the way. So, welcome everybody. My name is Lisa Snyder. I'm the co-founder and chief innovation officer of Tokeativity, the global feminist community for active cannabis culture. Welcome to our Tokeativity Clubhouse. Today we are celebrating the Herstory of Tokeativity, celebrating 5 years being in the cannabis space, being in business, having a very evolutionary process to how we've evolved and got here. We're going to be talking about that. If you are building a cannabis business or curious about how Tokeativity has come about, this is going to be really fun. And if you have been to Tokeativity, whether you've been to some of our digital events over the last 2 years or you are Tokeativity OG and came to some of our events when we're doing them in person, we're going to be doing some story sharing today. So think about some stories you want to share. I know that Tokeativity HQ ladies and some special guests have some up their sleeves. So if you are new to Tokeativity, we are a global community of 56,000 active cannabis consumers and business owners that believe in cannabis normalization, equity, and empowerment of a modern consumption culture. We connect with each other through creative, social, and political intersectional feminist forward activities and creative campaigns that work to create radical positive change. We have been featured in Forbes, Condé Nast, High Times, Dope, Leafly, Yahoo, Vanguard Media Online, and a ton more. And if you are interested in working with us on a creative campaign or becoming a member, you can visit our website, tokeativity.com, and get in touch. I want to shout out to our corporate members, Kind Leaf Pendleton, Glass Cardinal, and Scentsy Magazine for your support and dedication to the liberation of women through cannabis. And also a huge thank you to our sponsors for today's Clubhouse, the Divine Bliss Manifesto Retreat. You can find out more information about them at indi-ka-wellness.com. That's indi-wellness.com. If you want to sponsor future Clubhouse events, digital socials, or Instagram lives, you can head over to our website, tokeativity.com/events. Look for the event you want to sponsor, click on register, and select logo or link on the page. And we will definitely give you a shout out like I just did. We are doing a special for all the listeners of our Clubhouse events. You can use coupon code Clubhouse30 to get 30% off. And you can check out our entire year of, I guess now it's up to June. We'll be redesigning and deciding what we do in the summertime and afterwards. But now through June, our digital events are accessible through to our global community through June. And that includes all of our Clubhouse's socials and IG lives. You can check them out on our website. So next week, we're so stoked about the 5th Tokeativity Birthday Bash Social. So today's conversation, we're going to be sharing about stories from Tokeativity and sharing a little bit about the Herstory of Tokeativity. And then next week, we're going to be celebrating that we've been in business for 5 years, y'all. That is so huge, and that's really hard to do in the cannabis space. And we're going to be sharing, how did we even do that? Sometimes I ask myself that. How did we do that? How are we still doing it? And it's really good to learn from each other and to hear some fun stories along the way. So we'd love to see you at next week's event, and it's free. You can RSVP on our website. And I hopefully will be able to post the link here. I don't know, Clubhouse keeps changing things, so we'll see what I'm able to do. But anyway, let's get to it. Our intention here is to talk about cannabis, feminism, consumption with a focus on 5 years with Tokeativity, and sharing some herstory about this. So let's kick this off. Let's go around, and those of you who are here on the main stage with me, we've got some HQ ladies and our special guest Leah. And of course, if you have anything to share along the way and you have been to Tokeativity and you want to share, just raise your hand and we'll bring you up in a little bit. So why don't we kick it off with my business partner, Samantha Montenero.
Hey.
What's going on?
I'm so excited to be here, and I was just laughing so hard as you were like, sometimes I even wonder how we made it 5 years, and it made me laugh because we've been on this journey together, and I think anybody who's had a business for 5+ years feels the same. The number of ups and downs is really quite incredible.
Yes, many of those. And yes, I'm sure any of us who've done anything for 5 years are like, how the hell did we do that? And obviously there's ways that we work on ourselves and our interpersonal growth that then expands outwardly to our professional life. And that's how a lot of this stuff happens. But Sam, why don't you introduce yourself and just take a few minutes here and just share with us what you do for Tokeativity, and I'm sure we'll come back around to more storytelling and the history of it.
Sounds great. I'm so stoked for that part. But hello, everybody. I am Samantha Montenero, and I am the co-founder and current CEO of Tokeativity. It's so special for us to reach this milestone and to think back on what we've all done together. I've worn nearly every hat except for the tech hat. I would say that one that is always belongs to Lisa. But I've worn many hats at Tokeativity over the years, and just feel so passionate about, when Lisa came to me and requested a meeting. I had a venue. She had this idea for Tokeativity and just needed a place to do it. And when she came to me and shared this idea, I literally yelled out, "Fuck yes," because I have a mother and 2 sisters and a grandmother, a very prominent matriarchal situation in my family that I've been raised in. And all growing up, I've been so grateful and so privileged to have a really strong support system of women. And when I became a mother and, as I've gotten older, ladies' night is what's up. It has always just been essential for my mental health. And it was something that was kind of missing from Prism House. For those of you who don't know, Prism House is a cannabis-centric event space that I started in 2015. And I had done a lot of one-off things, one-off women's events, brunches, or, whatever else. But to have something regular, to actually dedicate regular space to feminine empowerment was something that not only I needed, but I knew so many around me needed as well. And, needless to say, Prism House is fully wound down at this point, and I am full-time with Tokeativity and have been for a couple years now for the most part. So it's a big deal for us to be here, and I'm just exploding with happiness to be here with you ladies today.
Ooh. Yes, I'll come back around to what the beginning of Tokeativity really was, but it's so cool to kind of know each one of our roles now and what our relationship was and how we sort of entered the space. And Sam entered the space by me pitching her on Tokeativity, and I'll get to that in a few. But and in the Tokeativity space, and she had already been doing these events, cannabis consumption events in her house, which was so edgy, And I was very excited to work with somebody who was willing to take risks like I was, even though sometimes anxiety provoking. But anyway, let's go to Wendy. So Wendy, can you introduce yourself and share what you do for Tokeativity now and how you found out about Tokeativity? Because I actually don't even know what your story is with how you found out about us.
Oh my God. Yes. Hi, everybody. My name is Wendy Minty. I am the Chief Community Liaison here with Tokeativity HQ. And I love this community so much and have for like basically 5 years. I found Tokeativity because I actually sit on the board of directors for another women in cannabis focused nonprofit called the Women Leaders in Cannabis. And originally, we were based out of Eugene, Oregon, which, for those of you who maybe don't know, is like 2 hours south down the freeway of Portland, where Tokeativity was born. And we had a women's group centered around education for women in the industry, networking, business building, things like that. And a bunch of us girls heard about these super rad, women only cannabis craft pot parties up in Portland. We're like, oh shit, we got to go to this, And so a bunch of us, myself, Anna, Heidi, Lynn, Yo-Yo, Ross, maybe from Echo Lectuary, all drove up to Portland to go to a Tokeativity event, and we're just like, holy shit, y'all, this is amazing. And we were going up to Portland kind of regularly, and we're like, okay, this, we need to bring this to our group in Eugene. Like, we've got 50 plus women that gather once a month. How can we get y'all to come down and like do one of these in Eugene? Can we pay you? Can we, what needs to happen here? And that kind of, over the course of time and lots of really good conversations over biscuits and coffee and all kinds of things, led to the first Tokeativity chapter outside of Portland, which is pretty exciting. I had to see your all's microphones flashing. I've never talked on Clubhouse before, so I don't actually
Means
know
we're
what that
clapping.
means. Oh, yeah.
Whee!
Love it. But yeah, and so myself, Anna Kaplan, she's a board president of Women Leaders and the co-founder of Sugar Top Buttery, and Heidi Fickstad, one of the owners of Moss Crossing, a dispensary in Eugene. We were the 3 Tokeativity Eugene chapter leaders, and we brought Tokeativity outside of Portland, and that in turn birthed more chapters of Tokeativity and me being more involved with HQ. And I just couldn't be happier to get to do this work with all of you ladies.
How fun and awesome, like, and inspiring that that you came to Tokeativity and you're like, holy shit, like, we need to bring this to Eugene. Which, by the way, for those who are not from Oregon, like, Portland and Eugene are 2 hours away, and like Eugene is like Portland's little sister, and we're like Seattle's little sister, in my opinion. And it was really cool to get to know the women of Eugene, because we were really looking to practice, like, how could we do this and outside of Portland. And there's a lot that goes into a consumption event, as we have gotten to know, and there's like 100 things you need to do in order to really be safe and compliant and stay in a gray area, if there is one. And it was really us taking a leap of faith and them taking a leap of faith on us, and it was amazing. We launched in June 2018, and in Eugene, and Wendy, is one of the chapter leaders, really helped us to spearhead what it was like to practice and to do that, and helped us to then do all these other chapters, which, by the way, we don't do chapter stuff anymore. Pandemic times have forced us to really focus on our global community, but we love being able to be a support to women on the ground in different locations, because you don't need to reinvent the wheel when it comes to networking and to connecting about certain topics. You can tap in to our network, Tokeativity. So thankful you're here. And so you are our chief community liaison. And so what does that mean?
I am our communicator, our member in our community liaison, link our HQ team to our community, champion our community members, cheer on all of our members, support y'all in business and in work and in life, and just everybody's biggest fan, basically.
You are an amazing cheerleader. Thank you. Sam, maybe you can chime in here. Casey is just come down with COVID today and is not feeling great, but is being a cheerleader supporter from behind the scenes here, and wants us to share a little bit about her background. So maybe Sam, since you Casey have been working together for a long time, this might be a good opportunity for you to introduce Casey and what she's done for Tokeativity.
Yay! I'm happy to introduce Miss Casey Weiser. Because I feel like I don't even know what I would do without her. Casey comes from a background of hospitality and business management and administration, and has been a cannabis consumer forever and really used cannabis to help her with PCOS. Also with, she had twins and went through like a really extreme pregnancy and postpartum situation, and had a really powerful cannabis story. And Casey and I actually met at a clothes swap that was organized by Miss Leah Maurer, the one and only who connects everybody. And Casey and I, she was like, you want to go out front and smoke weed? And we were like sitting there smoking a bowl, and we just really connected. And I know for Casey, she didn't have female friends that she smoked weed with, and certainly didn't have Canamom friends. And it was just the beginning of like, I remember her being like, I am obsessed. She's like, I am just here for it. This is like really life-changing for me right now. And as Prism House expanded, I needed help. And I think anybody who's starting a business can relate with that pivotal moment where you're like, okay, this is too big for me as a solopreneur. I need help. I also don't feel ready to really hire somebody, and I'm not, whatever else. Casey just started helping me in all kinds of different ways with events. And we started co-producing events together. And when Tokeativity came along, she was like, I'm coming. I'm bringing wine. We totally had alcohol at the beginning of Tokeativity. All of the Toketivities had alcohol and cannabis. It was super risque. And I think for a lot of us, it doesn't feel risque. It's like kind of our norm. But either way, she showed up to that first event and was just there for it, and has literally since been to every single event. She's just been an integral part of Tokeativity since the beginning. And eventually, as we expanded and things, we had different needs within our organization internally. She's worn so many different hats at Tokeativity as well, but is now our chief operating officer. And Casey is just the queen of seeing what is happening, like taking a whole bunch of chaos and making it smooth as hell. She can organize events. She can organize companies. She can organize groups of people. She can organize groups of children and everything in between. And we're just so grateful for her. It's really people like her, and everyone here, everybody at Tokeativity HQ and Leah have just really showed up, for us as women too, for us as entrepreneurs, but then more so for the movement and for the bigger picture. So it's been such a beautiful ride with Casey. Love you, Casey.
Woo! It was Casey's birthday yesterday. Happy birthday to Casey. Woo. Yeah, so thankful that you two found each other so early on and created this like amazing rapport and trust and fun. And it's been so awesome to have Casey in our Tokeativity world. And we've all been through a lot of things, and I'm just so proud of all of us, how far we've come, and how how we got here was a very winding road, but I feel really good about it all, and just so thankful. So thank you, Casey, for all of your hard work and dedication. Kia, Why don't you introduce yourself and share a little bit of background about how you found out about Tokeativity and also what you do now for Tokeativity.
Yes, hello everyone in the room. I'm Nakia Delaware. I go by Kia mostly, and I am the Chief Creative Officer of Tokeativity currently. My Tokeativity origin story. Haha. Let's go back to November of 2017. That's the first Tokeativity event that I went to, the Back to the 90s party. I was like just fresh off like my dream trip to Paris and England, and like when I got back, I like became a stepmom. Long story short, there, and it was it was quite the change, and trying to find my people that smoked weed and were also moms was a little bit difficult until I heard about Tokeativity, which was through actually social media. That's how I found out about you guys. I kept seeing posts about Witchy Woman. I missed Witchy Woman, but then went to back to the 90s. And at this particular event, which was at Sam's house, the OG Prism House, they had a female tattoo artist giving tattoos in Sam's room. And I was like kind of skeptical of going because I was going by myself, but like the stars fucking aligned. I had the exact amount for the tattoo in my piggy bank. I was like, well, all right, well, let's just go ahead and do it. So I went, and one of the first things that I noticed was that Sam and Lisa had created basically like a 90s party, like that I would have wanted to go to when I was a kid, without the male gaze, with women of all different shapes, sizes, ages, colors, convening and not competing with each other, smoking weed, vibing. It was such an amazing, magical time. Like, I was pretty much hooked. And I even, like, I got a tattoo that night too, that like a lot of other ladies that were there got as well. So it was this beautiful bonding moment as well. And I went to as many Tokeativity events as I could go to after that. And then in 2018, they rolled out the Grassroots Program. I was definitely on board to support, especially being someone working in a dispensary at that time. I was ready for it. So I became one of the first Grassroots members, and like, micro financially supported Tokeativity for about a year or so. And then I think I asked Sam for like a reference for a job, and she's like, well, what are you looking for? Like, maybe we could fit you in with Tokeativity. And I was looking for social media and content creation work right before right before the pandemic. Like, I think I signed on March 9th, and then everything shut down March 12th. So been integral in the pivot that a lot of you may know now as the digital events. So yeah, that's
Oh my God, Kia,
my
I love you so much. And I have to say, y'all, Kia would always show up in like the best outfit you've ever seen in your life, because at all the Tokeativity events, it was always dress up. Like, we loved the theme dress up stitch. And it's like, if you don't want to dress up, don't dress up. But for people who like to dress up and maybe miss that, from different things when we were younger, it was like so freaking fun. And when I met Kia, I mean, I remember just vibing so hard and was like, I just want to be friends with you. Like, let's hang out. And, Nakia came over and we just hung out. And I was like, literally, how can I work with you? Like, in any way, shape, or form? Like, do you want to start a band together? Do you want to do graphic design with me somehow? Maybe you could help with Prism House. Like, what about Tokeativity? And then we became friends and we were like hanging out, and it was like about a year, Kia, that I know we were kind of talking about it. And I think I said to Lisa pretty early on, I was like, Nakia, I want to work with her like more than anybody right now. Like, when I envision our team, I can picture her on it. And it took some time. The conversation started, and like Kia said, she came on right before the pandemic, but the conversation had started much earlier, and it has just been kismet and really witchy as hell. Like, the journey with all of us has been like almost eerie and coincidental, and like too many things that are in alignment where you're like, this isn't coincidence. We're literally meant to be here together. So
for sure.
we just are so grateful for you being on our team, Nakia. It's really definitely helped us grow so much. You really bring so much to us.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad to be here. And, to speak to the Kismet part, like for about 2 years, I was, silently thinking the same thing. I want to work with Tokeativity. I don't know quite how I'll fit in. Let's see how this plays out. I didn't want to like push it. I wanted it to be something that like was in alignment completely. And it is. And here we are.
Fuck yes. I love how all of this has been really organic growth. It's about like we're all really passionate about cannabis, feminism, and forward movement, and that's really the bones of Tokeativity. And I'm so grateful for you, Kia, for all you've brought to the table and all of your like positive, loving energy. And I have lots of fun memories thinking back to other events before we really knew each other, always noticing like, damn, that girl's wearing this amazing outfit. I love that she dressed up for it. And also for your early on support of Tokeativity as a grassroots member. That really meant so much. And it was organic, seeing you at the Cultivation Classic judges pick up. We were picking up our kits, and I was just like, I don't know, do
Yeah,
you want to like do something? I don't know. It was just like we
I
kind of just kept
forgot about
vibing
that.
with it.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, sorry. What were you gonna say, Kia?
Oh no, I was just saying I completely forgot about Cultivation Classic because that was just that all pandemic beginning times just feels like a whirlwind. But yeah, we definitely steps outside and talked about what do you want to do?
Yeah, and you're like, I like writing about stuff. I like writing about history, about things, and like I just know that when someone comes to Tokeativity and don't really quite know where they belong, like Tokeativity will help find the place. It just kind of happens organically. Um, so grateful. Let's talk with Leah. Leah Maurer has been a supporter since the beginning. She was our first ever Tokeativity guest speaker. I remember feeling really nervous writing her and being like, I hope she says yes. You know what I mean? And I'm really excited to hear from you, Leah, about like, I know you don't work for Tokeativity, but I know you've just been such a huge supporter for such a long time, and obviously a good friend of Sam's before that and along the way. Can you share with us a little bit about about Tokeativity, what you thought of it, before you even came, and how it's changed for you and what your relationship with it is?
Thank you so much for having me on. Listening to you guys all tell these stories is so sweet. It's like making my heart swell so big right now because it's just, I mean, yeah, I can't believe it's been 5 years and to see everything that's happened. But thank you guys so much for having me on stage today. And thank you so much for everybody that's in the room right now. My name's Leah Maurer. I am an activist, and I am also one of the owners of theweedblog.com. And as Lisa said, I was the very first guest at the very first Tokeativity, and can pretty much tell you that I watched the birth of the whole thing, as Sam already shared. Sam and I are best friends, and Sam and I met in July of 2015 when I was like fresh off my activism and advocacy and all my work from the Measure 91 campaign, which is what legalized adult use cannabis here in Oregon in 2014, in case you don't know. And so I met Sam, and we were just like clicking on all levels immediately. Like, we loved the weed. We were both like super activistic, like we had kids. We, just were into all these things. So we clicked immediately and became really good friends. And so when she was, what she was saying earlier about all these like OG Prism House events, I was at pretty much all of them. Whether it was like an industry meetup thing, or whether it was like a party, or it was something in between, a dinner, a brunch, whatever. And some of them were weed centric, and some of them were like baby showers. There was all kinds of things that were happening there. And so when Lisa came up with this idea, I'm not sure, I guess she talked to Sam first, probably, about like, can I, have this event at Prism House? And then she talked to me about speaking at it. And of course, I had talked to Sam, and Sam was like, hey, I met this person too, and they want to do this. Da, da, da. And so really watch, they had that first event that I spoke at, and we do storytelling. I would love to share more about what was going in my head that day when I was speaking in front of all those people at the very first event, because it was such a crazy moment in my life as well.
Why don't you just share that now? I mean, you're already talking about it.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. Before I say it, the other thing I was going to say is I also, yes, got to witness Casey and Sam becoming really good friends and watching, Casey come into it. Well, first I got to watch like the birth of the whole thing. And I think maybe there was the event that very first event and maybe one more before Sam and Lisa had like officially partnered on it and decided we're going to do this together because I need you and you need me and we're going to do this together. But it's been so fantastic to watch everything grow. So when Lisa first approached me and sent me an email that was very simple and professional, asking me would I be able to do this? And I had done public speaking, in several different women in cannabis things and other cannabis things at that time. And had obviously been a spokesperson for the campaign and stuff. And so I was like, okay. And I was in the middle of having a lot going on in my life at that point in time. And so I said, okay, well, tell me a little bit more about this idea that you have. I think the name's cute. I'm super into the women thing. I'm super into the weed thing. Tell me a little bit more. And when she told me about it, I was like, okay, I think this is something I can do right now, because I was at that point in my life, I was in the middle of what was a fallout between a business partner that my life partner and I had on what was going to be one of the first vertically integrated cultivation and retail platforms in the state, because legalization was still so fresh. And that relationship had gone south. The main reason it went south is because our ex-business partner told us that we could not trust him around our children. And there's more to that story, but that was that being a mother, it was a huge red flag after other red flags I'd had about this person. And that turned into a 4-year-long lawsuit. He was a millionaire, so we were fighting a millionaire literally on this lawsuit, even though the whole thing was completely fraudulent. And I, at the same time going through the lawsuit, we had to go through I don't even know what you want to call it, a full-blown circle of conspirators slandering us mostly on the daily, and with this big media hit and character assassination campaign that lasted the length of the lawsuit. At this point, we were kind of in the middle of it. We were more towards the beginning of it. And when Lisa told me what it was about and how much she wanted to see women win and how this safe, supportive space that she would be creating for women, I knew that it was going to be hard for me to stand up in front of a bunch of women and talk with them. But I also knew that this was a space that I was going to be able to do that. And one of the things that I shared, and I cried, I'm going to cry right now because it was such a pivotal point for me. I felt so supported in that room when I was sharing what was going on with me. And I didn't share it at length at that point because it was still really fresh. But what I shared that day was about how much the tribe of women in my life during that first, however long it had been at that point, year and a half of this whole, ongoing slander and character assassination that I was dealing with on the daily in my personal life and in the industry, especially. Um, I don't know that I would have been able to not only make it that far just in the world of cannabis, but make it that far at all, because I was so shaken up by it. And having a tribe of women during that time in my life meant everything to me, because I knew if I went to an industry event or whatever, some kind of social, a conference, or any other kind of industry meetup, I knew that there would be people pointing at me and I knew that there would be people whispering about me. But if I had my tribe there, or even if I just had one or two of my tribe there, I knew I was going to be okay. I knew I was going to be safe. I knew I was going to be able to continue to keep my blinders on and do my job and do what I was there to do and not have to back out because I couldn't handle it. But it meant everything to me. And so being able to share that experience in such a vulnerable way, in such a safe space where I felt so supported, and was everything to me at that point. And so it was a very empowering moment for me as an individual. And I felt like this was part of what, the birth of Tokeativity, of it being founded on this very, very premise of you are supported in this space, you are safe in this space, and we are here to help you win and help you do better and help you win in all the ways and be accomplished. And we are here to be your network and be your support when maybe you don't feel like you have it otherwise. And that just really stuck. And it is a huge part as to why I think that this platform has grown as organically and amazingly as it has. And to, and can also speak to the number of women who it has been, if not life changing, very impactful for in many ways, both in their professional and probably personal lives. So I just feel so fortunate to have been around from the beginning and to be able to reap the benefits of this, and all of you amazing ladies. And for everybody else in the room, I have to tell you, I think I've shared this with most of the HQ at this point, but I can't tell you all how many times I've been at anything from like MJ BizCon to like CCC or any of the big conferences that were happening, cannabis science conferences, or even just like smaller meetup events where you're meeting other industry people and you're talking about industry things. I can't tell you how many times people asked me if I worked for Tokeativity because I was talking like I was a salesperson, because I was just like, this is amazing and everybody needs to be a part of it. Oh, you're a woman, you do this. Yes, you need to be here. And I'm giving out their stickers and, oh, here's their Instagram. Yeah, follow it, but it's just been, it's been such a wonderful, thing to be a part of. And I feel so honored and blessed to still be here and be working alongside you all, and just to be doing all the things that you're doing and watching you continue to like change lives and really, help push things forward. So thank you.
Oh, Leah, I'm totally teared up, and you got me crying there too, because that was like so intense for all of us. And I want to chime in here and say that this was our very first event. We were so excited about it. And, we knew shit was going on with Leah. And my truth is I was like, I don't really know what's going on with her business wise. But at the time I was like, it's honestly none of my business. She is a part of the reason that we're all here right now, first and foremost. But second of all, just as a woman who is going out and advocating for plant medicine, like you need support, and your business deals were like, I remember at the time being like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if this is just slander. I don't know. I only knew you for a little while, and it was mostly kind of professionally. And it was like we had kid play dates, but I didn't know the details of the lawsuit or anything with that. But that didn't matter. That didn't matter for us. You still deserved to feel safe and supported and excited about your work in cannabis. And there was, it was our very first event, and we actually got contacted by someone who was threatening us, saying that if we had Leah speak at the event, that, you're aligning yourself with the wrong people. You're never going to make it in this industry. I mean, people talked major shit. And Lisa and I were like, this is not in alignment with us. These other people are not in alignment with us. Someone who is going to message someone else to talk shit about another woman in cannabis is not in alignment with Tokeativity and not in alignment with Lisa and I. And we have stuck by that so deeply. We told them that they were not welcome to come, that safety is a priority at Tokeativity, and especially for any women in cannabis. We all know how unsafe this world can feel, and how just being in the male gaze, how unsafe that can feel to many women. So to have that energy try and creep in on our very first event, we shut that shit down so fast. And we had so freaking fast. And we had a sold out, absolutely freaking incredible event that had us all crying. I have goosebumps even thinking about it. And it was just so powerful. We made vision boards, and we talked about the type of women that we wanted to be, and the intentions that we were setting, and the things that we wanted to do. And it continues to be a thread through Tokeativity, that collaboration over competition. Sure, you can have some nasty business deals going on. That doesn't mean that I should do XYZ. It's like everyone needs to make their own choices for themselves. But at the end of the day, we have a bigger issue on our hands here.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I cried a lot. I remember trying so hard to not cry like the day of the event because I was like, oh my God, I got to talk in front of people and I'm gonna look like crap if I cry, but lots of tears in the days leading up to that because you guys were obviously in touch with me about that whole situation. And I'll go ahead and add for everyone else in the room. I think that the HQ probably all knows because they've known me for a while now, but the majority, basically all of this slander and character assassination that was happening from men. And some of it was from men who had never even met me in real life ever. So I had that. And the other thing I'll say, just so that everyone also knows, we came out with a settlement of this lawsuit in early 2020. And we came out on top and got a settlement and got the statement that we wanted, but had to fight it for 5 years. And so there was so much damage. I mean, anybody that's in this room can think about how different things were 5 years ago in weed. Okay. So, a lot has happened since then. But the support just meant everything to me, and it was life changing for me. And moving forward after that, and all the weed events that were continuing to happen at that time in Oregon, and all the conferences and stuff like that, I felt after that event, I was like, I can do this. Like, I'm not gonna back into the corner. I'm not gonna, let everybody think I just died. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. I knew the lawsuit was wrong. I knew that people like had their own thoughts or had their own questions. But I also knew after that like I had the support that I needed to be able to stand on my own 2 feet and trudge forward. And I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I didn't back out 5 years ago and that I'm still here.
Oh, hell yeah, girl.
So
How good did that feel? I know when I made the social media post of like, guess what, fuckers? They just won their lawsuit. And at that point, I knew way more because this was, 4 years later or whatever. And I was like, okay. But it felt so good for us at Tokeativity to be like, we aligned with our guts, with our spirits, and with the cannabis feminist movement and what that means for us. And to see you come out on top from that, Leah, was, and again, I'm very privy to like the amount of damage that did for your family. So I know that sometimes it doesn't even feel like you maybe came out on top. But like for it to be cleared of that, this was a slanderous campaign by ego-based crazies, it really did tie to everything with Tokeativity as well. Because I think if you're a woman working in cannabis, you've probably experienced someone talking shit, someone spreading rumors, someone slandering your ability to do business. This is what the patriarchy has put on us as women, that we are catty, gossipers. And here at Tokeativity, we just made a mission early on to be like, no, we don't have time for that. That is, if we're going to make change in society, we can't be pitted against each other. The crabs in a bucket analogy comes to mind often. If we're just going to tear each other down, well, how easy is it for the patriarchy then, if they just pit us all against each other? So, yeah, so glad you're here today, Leah, and thank you so much for being our unpaid saleswoman.
I think she's getting paid, though. She's getting paid in a different way.
Right. This what do you call this? This is it's so valuable. You can't really put a price on it. No, I love you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, well, we love you too. And I had so many different things I wanted to say along the way, and I just comment about a couple of things that you mentioned. First of all, I wanted to say, like, when you were sharing about your experience on both the Tokeativity side and also your personal side, I was just getting goosebumps because just really feeling for you. I think this, like Sam said, this happens so much in different business spaces, and definitely has happened in cannabis a lot, as we've been here for 5 years and have seen a lot and have heard a lot. But a lot of times people focus on the imperfections of a moment or misunderstandings of a moment, and blow it out of proportion, and basically like witch hunt one individual woman and like try to burn her reputation to the ground. We do not align with that, and we do not agree with that approach to problem solving. And so when that person came and DM'd me on Facebook, like a random person that was like, don't have Leah Maurer. If you have Leah Maurer at your event, like, bad stuff will happen to Tokeativity. That was a threat to us, and she didn't even know what we were doing. She never asked any questions about it. She didn't know my background at all. She wasn't caring about the women's movement. She was only caring about herself and whatever else she was caring about. And I just don't align with that. And so we shut it down. Not saying you're not welcome here, but we specifically said we do not align with online bullying. And that, to me, that was what was happening. And I had no idea really what that was all about. I literally had no idea. I just knew someone was coming at us really quickly. And I was like, damn, we haven't even had the event yet. And somebody's contacting us. So I just kind of knew that maybe cannabis was maybe, it had both sides of it, like this like cool hippie, everyone loves weed vibe, and then there's also this like cutthroat energy that people try to align with to knock each other down, and we're just not all about it. And so I'm really sorry that you had to go through all that, and also I felt so proud that you felt this camaraderie and this protection around you. I felt like I wanted to protect you, and also I felt like that's what we do for women that we care about and that we want to work with, and that's what we do here. And I learned that from a lot of feminists that have come before me. I come from a feminist background and have really weaved a lot of my values into Tokeativity. And anyway, Leah, I'm just so thankful that you've been there for us. And I've like looked at you at events when we were doing in-person stuff, and I'm like, I'm so thankful this woman supports us and like sees what we're doing. And it really made me feel seen, and it made me feel supported back. So I really appreciate that circle of life.
Thank you. Yeah, likewise. Thank you.
Yeah. Heather, I saw you jump on here, and I before you share a little bit about your Tokeativity experience, I wanted to come back around and share a bit about my origin. Everyone shared a little bit about theirs, but both my parents died of cancer when I was in my 20s, and I tried to get my mom access to cannabis, and I was really not taken very seriously. Along the way, I was part of a global feminist community, and I learned a lot about our own internalized misogyny that we all have. Both men and women and everybody in between has it. And it really has been ingrained into our society, kind of like racism has been ingrained into our society. And very different, but it has similar backgrounds. It's white men trying to control things, just to put it bluntly and just simply. And we've really come a long way. And I've interweaved my passion for supporting the liberation of women, integrating it in with cannabis, and hopefully the work that we're doing here is normalization work. Like every time we ever talk about it, every time we ever meet another canna mom, I'm a dog mom, but there's lots of canna moms in our community. Every time they meet each other, every time someone buys a product, it's all normalization work, and we're all seeing that what happens with that normalization work is other states have another location or jurisdiction to lean on to with lawmaking and rulemaking, and that's what needs to happen in order for forward movement to happen with being able to even access it. And access is so important, whether it's medical or adult use. And we also recognize that the legacy market is there, and we are a bridge between all of those spaces, and of course supporting the legal market as much as we possibly can, and supporting the women behind it. So I came up with the idea, or the word tokeativity came to me while I invited some friends over for dinner, and tokeativity, that was what it was in the doodle poll. And I was like, I love making up words, and also a super web nerd. And so I grabbed the domain name and social media, didn't know what I was going to do with it. And we were getting stoned and making vision boards. And that's why the first event we ever did with Tokeativity was vision boards and getting stoned and making vision boards. I believe in my personal life, and we believe in Tokeativity, that like setting intentions is so powerful, and you get so much further when you're very clear about your vision and in your energy and in your life. And I woke up every day thinking about it, not really sure how to execute on it. I didn't have the wherewithal to do consumption events. I was willing to do it. I thought about doing it in my house. And I went to a networking event and I overheard a woman, aka Samantha Montenero, talking about consumption events in her house. And I was like, holy shit, like the universe is aligning me. I almost didn't come to that event that night, but I told myself I'm going to go no matter what. And I got her contact information, and I didn't email her for I did email her immediately and asked for a quote or something, and then she wrote me back, and I didn't write her back for an entire year. I like was overwhelmed by the thought. I think sometimes this might happen to all of us, where like everything's aligning so much, you're like overwhelmed by it and like, oh my god, can I actually do this? And I think I might have questioned it. I also was about to get married and I had to focus on my wedding and planning that and stuff, so I focused on that. I came back around, I saw her at another event, and I was so sure that she would have remembered that like I never wrote her back, and I had this story in my head, oh my god, that woman probably hates me because I never wrote her back or something. And that is that night.
Every time you say that, I hear you say it, it makes me laugh so hard, because I'm sure you knowing me now, it's like, I didn't think twice about like.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I know that
no clue.
for sure. But like when you do things out there and you think someone notices, you notice, but like not everybody notices in the same way. Most people don't. So I wrote her my pitch, and I had a meetup group for bisexual and lesbian women in New Jersey, which I passed the torch to, and is still going on over a decade later. So I was familiar with the meetup process. I'd also hosted events in New York City for this festival I loved, and so I was an event planner. And so I pitched her on the idea. I didn't tell her what the name was because I hadn't landed on it quite yet. But I grabbed it all, and so she invited me over to connect with her, which happened to be my dad's birthday. Looking back on the calendars, it was my dad's birthday. It was my deceased dad's birthday. We met on the couch. She like wrapped her dog Cohen up in a blanket. Which I was like, I've never been to a meeting where someone's dog is here, and I don't know, it's just like so different. And I told her about my idea, and by the way, the pitch was in the email, so she had an idea about what the approach was going to be: events for women, consumption friendly, crafts, fun, blah 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 blah. And I said, I'm thinking about calling it Tokeativity. Like, what do you think about that? And I was actually really nervous to hear what she had to say, because it's really putting yourself out there when you're getting someone's opinion about something. And she looked at me and smiled, and she said, fuck yes, that's the name. And I was like, oh my god, okay. Like, suddenly me sharing that with somebody else besides my friend group, to this person that I could possibly might work with. I still didn't even know she even wanted to do it, but even sitting there, but she said fuck yes, and I was like, okay. And I whipped up the meetup stuff and put it out there. And she had already built this network of people who are already familiar with consumption friendly stuff. And Tokeativity was born. We launched on January 15th, 2017, 5 days before the inauguration of our past president. And the energy in the air was very like the Me Too movement was here. We're all about to cross over from Obama land to Trump land, and we didn't even know what the hell that even meant, but we knew it was going to be fucked up. And we knew we were going to need each other. And I woke up every fucking day excited as hell, with a like fire inside, knowing that this is powerful. What we're doing is powerful. Getting together is powerful. Setting intentions is powerful. Beyond vision boards, this energy I have thrived off of, still thrive off of. It changes and it's evolved so much, but when you're passionate about something in your life, it awakens you and it forces you to suddenly get the messages you need to in order to do what you have to do. And that's what I felt like I was doing every day, and still to this day do. So thanks, Sam, for saying yes, and thanks for all of your advocacy work before the day we ever met. I think every day builds on the next and the next, and we never know who we're going to meet and what we're going to do with our energies in our lives. And I'm just so thankful. Like, not only did you open up your home to us and all of the Tokeativity community for several years, rushing out your family and who's supported it wholeheartedly, cleaned the house and everything, taking a million risks with me, you know crossing our fingers, hoping for the best, trying new things on with me, and really being along for the ride. I'm so grateful to you and all you've brought and continued to bring to Tokeativity and bringing it to life. Thank you so much. It has been a really amazing 5 years.
Oh my God. I just love you so much and love the way that we co-create together. Lisa and I have really been through a lot, and our working partnership is the strongest relationship I have in my life. The strongest actively evolving relationship. It's like a marriage, and it's even better because we don't live together. And it's just been nothing short of magical, and I would do it 100 times over. Yeah, so grateful.
That's sweet and amazing. And for those of you who are, there's solopreneuring out there, there's cannapreneuring. Sometimes you're doing things alone, sometimes you've got business partners, sometimes you've got all kinds of people in your world that either help and support you with your vision, what you're doing, or kind of get in your way. And I think part of this 5-year reflection is about the more clear that we get on what we're doing together at Tokeativity and individually in our lives, like the clearer and the more swift we're able to get there. There's a lot of distractions out there, and this is just some advice to folks out there. There's lots of people that want to distract you. There's lots of people that want to throw little sticks in your way, and to be aware of that. The more that you focus on what you do want, the more you'll get what you want. It sounds like magic, but but it really helps you, in your life, in your personal life and professional life. And so I have purposely kept the Tokeativity logo like all around me, pretty much in every room of my house. I have like a little pin somewhere, I have a little sticker somewhere, always just like reminding me in the corner of my eye like what I'm doing and what I want to do. And it's just been such a beautiful ride. We'll close this out here with Heather. If you're able to chat, I know that your first event was our second event, our Get That Fucking Job event, which was so fun. Do you want to share a little bit about your Tokeativity experience? Heather, if you're there, if you can't talk, that's fine too. She's gone.
Okay, I was gonna say I want to chime in here and say a little bit about Heather and Jasmine, who is just in here as well, because Heather and Jasmine are mother and daughter, and Heather actually owns a house just a few blocks from me. And she started coming to Tokeativity, or started coming to Prism House events and Tokeativity, and she just has this mama bear energy about her in the best way. She's the cool mom. She's the cool mom that you're like, she's like, you want to hit this joint, baby? You're like, hell fucking yeah, I want to hit that joint. Mama, you're awesome. She just like fit right in with the community. And I know her and Jasmine came to that event. Is that right, Lisa?
Yes, I didn't even know that, but she said that was their first event, and that's where Kaya Harvest, their trim business.
That's right. Oh my gosh.
Launched. And by the way, that was also a sold out event. And our guest speakers were Sarah Batterby, who passed away last April. But it was a huge supporter of Tokeativity since the beginning, like Leah was. And Colleen O'Hara, who at the time had Jane Jobs. And our intention was to like, okay, y'all pot smoking ladies love cannabis. How do you get into the cannabis industry? And there's still a lot of need there, where there's a lot of desire for and curiosity of how do you translate your current skills to cannabis. And Sam actually had a session at one of our past events, which is available on our YouTube channel. If you want to check it out, just Google Tokeativity YouTube and check out how do you write a cannabis resume, or how do you turn your resume into a cannabis resume. So yeah, Sam, you want to continue with about
yeah. Heck yeah, this is such a magical freaking story, y'all. Okay, because you just jogged my memory on something. So So yeah, Heather and Jasmine, mother and daughter, came to Tokeativity to our second event. It was called Get That Fucking Job. And it was, about pivoting. And they had an idea to start essentially a trim crew business, mobile trim crew business. So if you have a grow, you can hire Kaya Harvest to show up, trim your weed and get shit done, where you don't have to put trimmers on as employees and all this kind of stuff. A lot of cultivators run into this where it's very cost prohibitive, with the high barriers to entry in cannabis, all these different positions, that you need to fill. And sometimes just getting that product out the door and having good help can be really hard to find. So they launched that business there. And I ended up doing some graphic design work for them, and we ended up started working together over the years. And I just fell in love with both of them. They're just such amazing people. Fast forward a number of years, and they went through a lawsuit. And I'm not going to say much there because I don't know what I can, it's not, again, not even my story to tell. But they ended up winning against some freaking dudes that tried to screw them over. And they ended up winning this lawsuit, and they went through hell. And really, again, they've both said this multiple times. It's just like, as women in this space, in cannabis, women in business, women in this world, it's already so tough. And to have a heavily funded male owned operation literally attacking them, and for them to come out on top, they sought refuge at Prism House and at Tokeativity during that time. And Heather reached out to me and was like, I have to tell you that we came into some money and we want to invest in Tokeativity. And, here at Tokeativity, we've been trying to figure out how to monetize this passion, as many business owners are. How do you make it sustainable? How do you support your team? How do you support yourself? You can't support a massive community of people if you literally can't put food on your own table, which Lisa and I both experienced at different points throughout the Tokeativity journey. We've been bootstrapping this thing since the beginning. So, yay, I'm glad Miss Kindness is up here. So, it's been a long journey for us in building this business. And it was about a year that we were talking to Heather and Jasmine about them potentially joining the team. They didn't want to just invest in Tokeativity. They wanted to come on and to help us expand. And so, long story short, they joined the team this year, and we officially closed on investment for the first time, which is really a big deal for us as women in business, to also be in 5 years and to be self-funded, and to be able to expand our team to women who have been such diehard supporters, there for everything, just, fully in because of the mission. And it's the craziest witchy shit, y'all. Jasmine made a vision board like a number of years ago that, I won't go through the details of it, but it literally is the picture of our headquarters now. It's bizarre. And like the number of things that have been in alignment that brought us together, it's just so freaking beautiful. So Heather is officially our Tokeativity HQ mama, is what her title is. She comes from a legal background, actually, and is also helping us navigate, some of the like legal things of just being in business. And Jasmine has done everything from, she's run dispensaries and launched product lines, and was doing HR stuff, all kinds of different things. So she is the new director of human services here at Tokeativity, and she's helping us dial in all kinds of different processes, and is also there to support the community. So this is really cool. And we don't have Leslie here with us today, but I do want to share a word about Leslie because she's the newest addition to our team. And her name is Leslie Dijon. She's based in Chicago, and the universe brought us together in a really unique way as well. And I just can't say enough about how magical this whole thing has been with Tokeativity. Like, it's just a bunch of witchy women that ended up working together. It's really beautiful. But Leslie is our new CMO, and she is just out of this world. She is about to get her PhD in behavioral science, and she is just out of this world amazing. And the 8 of us together make up Tokeativity HQ. That being said, I want to bring up here and introduce Miss Kindness, because we would not be here today without our partnerships and the women who we may not, Miss Kindness is not, isn't working with us on the day-to-day with Tokeativity, but hot damn, we are
Yes,
diehard
I am.
partners in this forever. Yes, you are. I'm like, actually, you kind of are. I'm like, we do touch base like almost every day. I rescind that statement. She is on HQ.
I was trying to let you finish, but my heart was breaking.
Well, I mean, I just want to be clear. I don't want to be misleading to people, but Miss Kindness, I think that our partnership and the way that we've worked together and the way that we've trusted and gotten to know each other, I mean, it is true. We're in this forever, together, and we just love you so much. And I just want to pass the mic to you and for you to share about how you came to Tokeativity and a little bit about what you do. Please plug all of your amazing things and your new hair care line and all of the stuff. We're just, again, it's witchy as hell how you came to us. I remember when I first saw you speaking at an event. Oh my God, when we met in person, I mean, I literally was brought to tears. It was like I'd known you my whole life or something. It was really a powerful moment. And I love how cannabis brings us together like that. So why don't you share a little bit, Miss Kindness? I love you.
I love you back so much. I appreciate you. As you were talking and you said that's 8 of us at HQ, a little piece of like my heart turned black. There was like a little black spot that started to grow. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like, no.
Because I feel like I'm like an honorary HQ member of Tokeativity.
You
As
are.
Lisa was talking, thank you. As Lisa was talking about how she saw you and she was like, this woman spoke, and it was Sam, and how that relationship built and you came together. And it was you too, Sam, that I met first, right? And you had that same magic. And now it's like this glue, Lisa's glue, Kia's glue, Casey's glue, Wendy's glue. And I just love the team so much. Am I supposed to say who I am? I'm Miss Kindness. That's my name. Yes, that really is my name. It's
Yeah.
also a calling. I am a master educator, a woman in cannabis, an advocate, a teacher, all through and through. I write children's books about weed, loosely based on my family, and I'm starting an OTT network where the flagship series is co-produced with Tokeativity, and it's called Bridges, and these are conversations, courageous conversations that center Black women and talk about all of those things that we really are afraid to discuss, but we need to be discussing so that we can overcome and heal together. And that's why I say I work with these ladies every single day. What I can say about Tokeativity is that it has always felt like a safe space. From me first discovering Sam in person to seeing the work you all were doing in your local community to watching the images and having not ever been able to physically attend a Tokeativity social, but being a part of every single social digitally over the last year and a half, that is such a testament to how much work you already did. Because when you can create that type of atmosphere and feeling and love and connection on a screen with women all over the world, but we felt like we were all in the same room, like we knew each other. I've made friends at Tokeativity socials now. I'm doing business with other women from those socials. My life has changed. I've gotten smarter. The best word I can say about what Tokeativity has created is safety. It is safety, safety, safety. And that means that we feel safe to ask questions, safe to learn, safe to commune, safe to find opportunities and grow together. And yeah, I don't know if my commercial was as good as Leah's, but I, I definitely love what you all have built. And I can't wait to see what's next. I know a lot of exciting things coming up for Tokeativity, and so I'm here for all of it. I appreciate you all for including me, loving me back, and letting me do this work with you. This is, yeah, good shit, y'all. Really good
Kindness.
shit.
I just love you so much, and you are honorary Tokeativity HQer, and like we always like invite Miss Kindness to the backstage parties after our socials, which actually like she requested originally. Now it's like a thing. We like now invite our collaborators to the after party for a few minutes to celebrate with us after digital socials. So if you are a collaborator and stuff, it's something you get. But anyway, it's just been so beautiful to evolve our friendship and our business relationship, and to see all the things you're doing and growing from. And obviously, like part of being a part of Tokeativity is meeting other people and meeting other women and meeting other business owners and meeting other cannabis consumers and seeing who you vibe with. So many people say, oh my God, I found my people. And that's what we want. We want folks to feel like they found their people. And if you're curious, you can read our Womanifesto on our website, which shares about our visions and values and what we're trying to create with Tokeativity and the energy that we're putting out there on the daily. And that there, you heard the call, you heard the energetic call, and like we've built this amazing our digital socials have been so fun, and you've been such an incredible part of making bridges in so many different ways, actual bridges. Our event series turned into television series, turned into more things. We brought it back around into the socials and are having these conversations that are so important, centering Black women and the BIPOC experience. And we have those at all of our socials, and Miss Kindness and Tiffany Watkins are hosts for that. And so those conversations obviously need to be front and center in an ongoing manner across the board, not just at Tokeativity, but in the cannabis space in general, and across the board in other industries. We're trying to literally make bridges with one another. And you've been such an integral part in making that happen, and helping us to feel comfortable to do that.
I want to chime in here and say, before you say anything else, Miss Kindness, and I want to hear more of what you have to say, but I like
the way you said
it. Thank you for the words that you said, Miss Kindness, because, I think our first tagline, one of our first taglines was a safe space for women to connect, create, and learn. To connect, learn, and create. And we talked about that word safe a lot because, we launched amidst near kind of the tail end of the Me Too movement. And what happened was there was a feeling of safety that happened from Me Too movement, because it was like, I don't feel alone. I do actually feel safer to say out loud that I've been harassed, or I've been, I've gone through whatever. But we quickly realized that no one's safe, to be honest. We've talked a lot about this, and we removed that language. We've talked about it not being safe space, it being brave space, because, it might not be safe. I mean, we can't, for Lisa and I at Tokeativity here, we can't ensure that someone isn't going to say something that makes you feel uncomfortable. We can't ensure that someone doesn't give you a look that makes you feel a certain way, or that, whatever. All we can do is just like really weave in deep rooted intention and communicate those intentions and try and put out energetic barriers for safety. So to hear you say that, Miss Kindness, and it's come up a number of times tonight, it keeps giving me goosebumps, and it's literally brought me to tears, because we wanted so badly to create that space. We wanted so badly to create a space where women could come smoke weed and feel safe to do that. And it is so much more than that. It is so much more than that. But thank you for saying those words. I really appreciate it.
It just is what came from my heart, girl. Really. It was just like, this is what I've always felt from the first space I entered that was Tokeativity sponsored or Tokeativity led or Tokeativity held. It felt safe. I felt comfortable. And I'm going to say, regardless of the demographic, like we can get into that. Obviously, I'm one of the few, Black women are few in between in cannabis. And so I know initially the demo looked a certain way of Tokeativity, and it has evolved to become beautifully inclusive. But nonetheless, the energy was protective, regardless of what we all looked like. And that's very special. And that comes from you and Lisa and that origin story. So I'm here for all of it. I love y'all.
Thank you. We love you too. And thanks for being a part of this amazing community and creating spaces for growth, personal and professional growth. I'm so excited about everything you're working on. And thank you so much. I saw Laura raised her hand, and I'm just curious. She does not work with HQ, but I did introduce us in the very beginning. If you wanted to share a little bit about your relationship with Tokeativity, you can share a little bit. So, Laura, what would you like to share?
I just wanted to say congratulations and how much I've appreciated Tokeativity being out there. I'm in Canada, but I do feel very much a kinship with you guys. I've really enjoyed going to your events, and I haven't been to some recently, but that's definitely on my agenda to do more of your online events. I love them so much. And I really am just so proud of all of the ladies that and how much you represent. It's just so heartwarming to know that there's that international community out there. And congratulations again.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Laura, our Canadian Canna sister. Thank you. Our next event actually is next Wednesday. So this is a great segue to share with you what's coming up. Just spend a few minutes closing this out. Sam has to go take care of her son, and we're over time here, and that's all good. I want to thank everybody for joining us. A lot of you I see here have been here the whole time, and thank you so much. I want to shout out to our corporate members, Kind Leaf Pendleton, which I see Erin is here. Hello, Erin. Glass Cardinal and Sensi Magazine for your support and dedication to the liberation of women through cannabis. Big thank you to our sponsors for today's Clubhouse, the Divine Bliss Manifesto Retreat. You can find out more about them at indi-kawellness.com. I saw Tay down there who's been here the whole time, and he is our sponsor from Indica Wellness. I wouldn't have known that unless you had that graphic on there. So shout out to you. Please join us at our 5th Tokeativity birthday bash. It's such a big deal. We're going to be really centering the conversation around being in business for 5 years. If women have had businesses for 5 years or have been in cannabis for 5 years, we're going to be hearing from Women Grow, Women Empowered in Cannabis, Women Leaders in Cannabis. We're going to be hearing from a leader who works at Coral Cove, and a ton of other amazing things are happening. You can see the whole lineup on our website, tokeativity.com/events. It's next Wednesday, January 19th. It's online from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. I want to thank all of our HQ members today and everybody from Tokeativity who joined us to tap in throughout this time. And if you're listening to this afterwards, we'd love to meet you. Come, if you can't come to this January 19th event, we would love to see you at any of our upcoming events. You can see all of them at our website. And some of the sessions will be recorded, but the interactive ones, you want to be there for the live version. So it's so fun. It's not on Zoom. And we have a ton of fun. And I love you all so much. Thank you for celebrating 5 years of Tokeativity with us today and this whole month, really. Thank you. Appreciate you, Kia, Casey, Leah, Wendy, Laura, Sam, Miss Kindness, 420 Media, Kush Queen, Mary, Travis, Takesha, Jana, Rachel, Aaron, and Tay. Thank you so much for joining us for this live Clubhouse. Hope you all have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next week. Woo! Love y'all. I'm closing the room. Peace.